It looks like we're in the great outdoors, but we are actually in my bathroom, and we are going to fix two real common problems with the toilet. One is it's filling really slowly. The other is it's not doing a complete flush. This should be an easy fix. Should take us about 15 minutes. Welcome to Weekend Warrior. We're going to do a real simple fix to the toilet today. We've got a couple of problems. Number one, when I flush the toilet, it doesn't seem to do a complete flush. And secondly, it takes a really super long time for it to fill up. So let's take about 30 seconds and learn, first of all, the basics of how a toilet works. It's a real simple device. That doesn't mean it doesn't have a lot of parts sometimes, but it's a real simple device. So let's take a look. So this is all there is to it. This tank fills up. It has about 1.6 gallons of water in this. And there's a tube that goes from this tank into the bowl. And it's a big tube. It's about 2 inches, 2¼ inches that opens up into that. That is plugged by this. This gadget is called a flapper. When you push the lever to flush the toilet, that's hooked up to this chain, and that lifts that flapper. All that water goes gushing out, and that's how the toilet is flushed. Then it fills back up again, and it's ready for the next flush. There's something here called a float, and the float is just like the valve, like the turn-off handle on your faucet, only rather than spinning around, it goes up and down to shut on and off, and it floats in the water, and the water gets to a certain level, it shuts off the water so no more water gets in here. It's really that simple. We're going to get inside here and fix this. The first thing I'm going to do is take a towel. I'm going to set it off to the side so when I take this tank cover off, I have some place to put it. I'm just going to put it right down here. I don't want water to drip all over the place. So what we're going to do first of all is I'm going to flush this valve out. Now if I were to take this off right now, water would go squirting, and it'd probably squirt all the way to the top of this counter, and water would be everywhere. So I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to turn off the water to the toilet, and then I'm going to get a plastic cup to put over that, so when we turn the water back on and that comes shooting out, it'll shoot into the cup and go right back down into the tank. The reason I'm doing this is this valve is filling up really slowly. That little hose that you see right here, that's what fills up this tank. And what's probably happening is this valve is all gunked up. It's probably got mineral deposits and other things in it. So I'm just going to flush it out. Now I'm going to flush this and you'll see why I'm not getting a full flush. When I flush this, you can see that flapper. You see that flapper that's closing right away. It should be staying open until the entire tank empties. That's what it should be doing. It should stay open like that, and finally when the water goes down, that's when the flapper should close up again. But it's not doing that. The second thing that's happening is water is flowing into this just so very slowly. It's taking a really long time for this to fill up. So we're going to try to fix both those problems. First, I'm going to replace this flapper. This is really cheap. It only costs about $2 to get a new one. So I'm just going to replace it. It could be that the flapper is just old and it's not buoyant enough, and that's why it wants to drop down again. Or it could be the chain is not adjusted right. This chain should have about, I don't know, maybe half an inch of slack in it to allow you to flush it. And the chain seems okay in this one, so I'm just going to trade this out. It's real easy. All you have to do is take the old one, pull this out, and then put the new one on. It's going to be a little tricky to see, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to reach in here and just pull those two tabs off, and this comes right up. And I'm going to disconnect this from this, got to kind of twist it around. Might be a little easier said than done here. And I'll put the new flapper in just by hooking it around the two pegs down there. Trying to work around the camera tripod here. This normally wouldn't be this clumsy. So there we go. There's a new flapper. Now I'm going to hook this back up. And actually, that's a real good length already. So I'm just going to hook it right back up to this bar. Right about where the other one is. If I can get the other one off, that would be, there we go. We'll put that one in. And that should work. I might have to, it's a little loose. I might have to adjust these. But let's get that valve fixed first, and then we'll worry about adjusting the chain. In order to get this valve off, it's kind of like removing a child-proof cap on a medicine bottle. I'm going to push it down and turn it. Hopefully I won't have to take that float off. And there we go. And that comes right off. Now I'm going to do a number of things. First, there's a little rubber, like a diaphragm in here. Notice it has, I don't know whether you can see this, but it has a little lip. I'll give a closer view of this. And that has to go on that pin. So make sure that this is going in the right way. I'm going to rinse this off and clean this off. But I'm also going to now turn the water on, and water is going to come gushing out of this. So I have to make sure I have a cup here to catch all that water. Okay, so here we go. Okay. And I'm just going to let that water rinse. That's not coming out with a lot of force, and that could be part of my issue. Normally I expect that to gush into that cup and then come pouring out. I'm going to see if I can maybe clean that out a little bit and see if there's any debris in there. Okay, and here is that little rubber piece that's in that little diaphragm. It's got some debris on here. I'm going to clean this up really good as well. And we're going to put that back and see if it makes a difference. I'm just going to rinse that under the water and scrub it down with my hand. That didn't seem to go right. There we go. Okay, so that looks like it's working and it's in place. Now this came unhooked, so we're going to hook that back up. That's my float. And we're going to put that back on there. The same way that we took it off. Push it down. Okay, looks like it's on there tight. Turn my water on. I'm going to keep that cup there just to be sure it doesn't leak. Okay, I do have water flowing. It's not flowing very strongly, so I kind of wonder if it's my valve coming up. It does work, but it's still not going any faster than I need it to. Let's let that fill up and then see how the toilet flushes. All right, let's see if the float works. I'm going to flush it, and we should see most of the water drain out. And look at that float is staying open. That's what we want. It's closing. It's not getting caught on the chain. So we succeeded in that portion. So we fixed the problem of not having a full flush. All we needed to do was replace that flapper. The old flapper was just dropping right away, so we need to replace that. About a $2 fix. Took about 2 minutes. The valve, that's another story. 90% of the time, if you have this toilet filling slowly, it's going to be that valve, and it's probably gunked up with sediment and minerals. And doing what I did will fix it. But you saw what happened. That water didn't come gushing out of there, which tells me there's low flow somewhere else. It could be within the toilet itself. It could be in the shutoff valve. It could be that there's mineral deposits there. It's not that big of a problem. It just takes a toilet a little longer to reset before it can be used or flushed a second time. Right now it's taking, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes to fill. I would say you should be able to get 1.5 gallons in there within about 30 seconds. So it's slow filling. You might even be able to hear it as I've been talking. It's been filling up. It's not that big an issue that I'm going to worry about it right now. I've eliminated one thing. I know it's not that filler valve, so I can check that off. If I get ambitious and I want to dig a little deeper, at least we know where to start. So if that's your problem, however, that's where I would start. I would take off that valve, I would flush it out. Don't rely on it being like mine. Put that cup over there, because normally that's going to come shooting out like a geyser. Well, I hope you found this helpful. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face in the corner, and don't forget to ring the bell icon way up there. That way you'll know when I post new videos. This is another Weekend Warrior video, and I'll see you next week. I'm Mark. This is the Average Me channel.